Hey, welcome back to the Dave Kittle Show. Today, I'm going to log in. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to log into my Google Ads account for my practice, Concierge Pain Relief Home Physical Therapy in the New York City area. And you get to look over my shoulder, or as if we were sitting next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. And I'm going to walk you through how much I spend, why I spend what I spend, how we track things, how we track leads and conversions and all that type of stuff. What types of ad campaigns are we going after? Why? What works? What doesn't work? This is going to save you, I don't know, it could save you thousands of dollars. And beautiful thing, I have nothing to sell you. Putting out content like this, I know is going to get a lot of attention and eyeballs. And it's interesting, right? Because there's like no one else putting out content like this of like actually how much people spend on online marketing to get in front of prospective patients and clients. But I have nothing to sell you. I put this out there because I know this is going to get views, reshares, attention. It's going to get me other opportunities, I believe, down the road. We're having physical therapists and practice owners come to us because of my show, because of the content that I put out, including this. So I have nothing to share in terms of an upsell, downsell, cross-sell, nothing, no mastermind, no course, no nothing. But let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen. If you don't know who I am, you should, because you clicked on this or whatever. But if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, jump over to the Dave Kittle Show on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like. Let me share my screen. Here we go. Here's the Google machine. I'm going to log right into my ads account, ads.google.com. Should be sharing my screen. Yes, logging in, signing in. We're going to click this one, this account, and let's see what it shows. Okay, so right now, in November 2023, spent a little bit over $8,000. Listen, I'm not gloating. I really don't care about trying to impress you or any other physical therapist or practice owner out there. But I think this is going to be interesting. I really wish that, 3 years ago, 4 or 5, whatever, 6 years ago, that there was content like this that would be insightful and actually tactical. All the stuff that I've ever done, if you ever listen to me on podcast shows, whatever, content, whatever, it's not really like abstract pie in the sky stuff, like hustle or, that type of stuff. But I mean, I have done that at some point, but here's tactical. Okay. Let's just go really quick. I did get some attention for this. So let's just go all time. I did promote this a little bit and I said, hey, I spent $104,000 on Google Ads. Now it's $107,000 since I posted this. But anyway, whatever. I've spent over $107,000 on Google Ads. For whatever reason, Facebook ads just don't work, or they don't work as well, or the folks that I had running those ads were not experts in doing Facebook ads in New York City. I know that Facebook ads can work, and they certainly do work. For whatever reason, Google ads work really well, or they can work well in New York City. We have a concierge practice, mobile practice. We don't have brick and mortar. So our physical therapists go to our patients and clients. We're going to get into that, but that's what this is specifically running. These ads are running for. And you can see total cost of the ad spend here, $107,000, 774 phone calls, 484,000 impressions, meaning eyeballs, people that saw my ad or our ads and scrolled past them, and 13,700, a little over 13,700 total clicks. So impressions would be eyeballs, how many impressions, how many unique individuals saw these ads, and some percentage of them click. And here's phone calls. Now, right off the bat, this is what I do. Now, there's ways, and I don't, listen, I have nothing to sell you. I don't know, I literally do not know how to set up Google Ads. I had someone do it for me years ago. They turned it over to me. They were like, hey, this is like a well-oiled machine. I said this on another episode. This other guy years ago, Eric, helped me set up Google Ads, and I was paying on a management fee, and then he got busy and he was like, hey, you're good. Like, he turned it over to me. So I knew like a little bit, but I like had to learn more, and you can use Google to learn more about what to do. But anyway, all time here, ad spend $107,000, 774 phone calls. Now, there's going to be other conversions. There's going to be other things. And let me scroll so I'm scrolling down now, and here's some of the ad campaigns. I'm scrolling in the account so for sure this is real, and you can see the competition here. So here's me versus ZocDoc versus Atlantic Spine. I forget who they are, but oftentimes there's been, Luna PT in here, and who else, like Kins and other folks like that. Here's some gold top searches. Now, these are the things that like Tony Maritato will then take these keywords and like make blog posts for, and that's a whole other conversation. Here's an ad right here with the impressions and the clicks and the click-through rate. Obviously, click-through rate is always going to be pretty low, like 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever. Here's our in-home ads. I'm going to get to more of this. Then it breaks down to amazing demographic detail, like what device people are on and what time of day and all that, tablet, mobile, computer, really, really interesting stuff. All of this is cool, but what really matters is cost per lead. Let's just really get into it. Just take out, and I'm going to do this in real time with a calculator, $107,000 approximately. You take 107,000. This is how I look at it. $107,000 divided by 774 phone calls. That's $138.24 per phone call. Now, this is called prospective patients or leads, or prospective patients, prospective clients, leads, whatever you want to call it. And this is a volume play. It does take money to make money. You cannot be fearful, and you have to put some money in, and really you have to get over the hump of some things we're going to talk about right now. But you have to pony up some money to do some tests, and obviously you have to go find someone to set up these ads for you or whatever. I'm not doing that. Please do not reach out to me to do so. I'm not interested. I don't know how to. I know how to tweak it now once it's already built. But anyway, consider this: $138.24 per phone call per prospective patient. So $107,000 divided by 774 phone calls. Now, these are trackable phone calls. You're going to want to have a Google Ads expert put the Google tracking code on your website, and usually you're tracking conversions in this bucket of phone calls. Now, on my website, on the Parkinson's disease page on my website, we also have a form that's tracked, and that also counts as conversions in terms of how the ad campaign is set up, but it doesn't even fall into this bucket. So really, it's like, I know that the dollar amount is it's under $100 per prospective patient. And then you have to track how many people, what we do. Our answering service, if you call in, the answering service says, how did you hear about us? And most of the time it's Google or it's word of mouth. And sometimes it's like a physician or a nursing or home care company, or sometimes it's another physical therapist, or I don't know, personal trainer, gym owner. I mean, there's all these different sources, right? But it's, for the most part, it's word of mouth from previous patients or clients that we got great results for, and they loved our experience, as they do for you in your practice, of course, right? That's table stakes, as they say. And then, but oftentimes they say Google. Now, I said this on the Joey Albritton episode when I had him on my show. I said that, and he agreed that there's no way to know this for sure, but when you run Google Ads, if you're going to spend $1,000 a month, or even, I don't know, $200 or $300 a month, now I'm spending, let's see, this month I said was what, $8,000, I think, right? Okay, so no, that's October. Sorry, that was last month. This month, October, I spent $7,000. This month, November, $8,000, a little over $8,000. Again, it's not a big deal. I started with an ad spend of probably like $200 a month. And it's usually like a dollar budget per day, right? So $200 divided by 30 days. Yeah, I was spending like $6 or $7 per day on ads originally. This was, when I first started, and you ramp up over time. Now, really, like, just, you have to track your prospective patient leads. And there is the component I was just kind of alluding to with speaking with Joey Albritton, which is when you run Google Ads, if you run, it doesn't matter, like $500 per month in this Google ad spend, Google will surface your organic content, and it's kind of nefarious in a way. It's kind of gangster. Google is, they own the machine, and you kind of like, you benefit from the machine when you run Google Ads. What I mean by this is Google will track some, but not all of the phone calls. Sometimes people convert, or they write into your website, or they look on your website, and then they call your practice from a different device, like the following day or the following week or whatever, right? And so Google does not track that ad click as a conversion, or it doesn't track it, sometimes it doesn't even track it as a phone call. And so what I mean by this is, let's just say, so for November, let's just say, and we get, some website form fills in terms of those are potential patients, because sometimes people are at work and they are busy and they can't call in when they want to inquire and ask about insurance, ask about availability, ask about home physical therapy or whatever. Some people will write into our website, which does not even fall into this bucket. But let's just say for $8,000, there was these 25 calls, right? And let's just say that was my world, my ecosystem. I had no other phone calls. These 25 tracked here, but there will always be others that are attributed to Google. They might say, I saw you on Google, or I saw you on Google Maps. And you can ask these patients, you can ask these prospective patients, I do this. Don't be afraid to do this. You got to ask people, hey, I'm just curious, like, hey, we're getting Google Ads set up, or we're tweaking things or whatever. Did you find us on Google Maps? What did you type in? Those are the types of things you can track. And I don't know if I have time to kind of break that down. And Google has changed some of their analytics. You used to be able to track. You used to go into call details. So if you got a call at 2:35 p.m. and you know the phone number that called into your practice, you would be able to go into call details and see that person's phone number and the time that they called in and the time duration that they spoke to your front desk person, your admin, or they spoke to you or whatever, the duration of the call in seconds. And if it was not listed there, then Google is saying that they called via your Google business listing, your Google Maps, whatever it might be, listing, your free organic posts, organic listings, but they did not click on an ad. And those people sometimes will say, yeah, I clicked on an ad and I saw your ad, and I don't usually click on ads, but I saw it and it seemed interesting and I clicked in your website and I like what I saw, and then I called you. And sometimes that prospective patient will say, yeah, I was the one that called you yesterday today at 2:35 p.m. or whatever. You go back in the analytics, and sometimes those, even if a person tells you they clicked on an ad, and sometimes in here, they're not listed as, it wasn't listed as a call that was triggered via an ad. All I can say, just bottom line is, when you pay for Google Ads, at least in my experience, you will get more prospective patients, more leads than what they attribute to conversions, what they contribute to either a form fill or a web form fill on your website, and or a conversion such as this in phone calls. So for example, let's just say I spent $8,000 this month in November and I got these 25 phone calls, but it's always going to be more. It's going to be like 35 or 40 or 45 patients that found us, that had no idea about us, but they found us via Google, and they might have found us on Google Maps. They might have found our blog article. They might have clicked on an ad, and then it did not trigger as an ad conversion. Does that make sense? So like, if you're not investing money on Google Ads, you're going to miss out on some of the freebies, like the benefits of, it says they served you, or they helped you get 25 phone calls, 25 prospective patients. And I'm telling you, it's always going to be more. It's not going to be less. You're not going to be like, wait, my Google Ads analytics says I got 25 phone calls and our phone only rang, 10 times. I just haven't seen it. It's not going to happen. So let's just do this real quick. So $8,000, 80, what is it? 80, 8,000 or $8,008. Okay, whatever. $8,000 divided by 25 phone calls. Now, if you do that, that's $320 per phone call, per prospective patient. Now, I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds really large, but when you look into your tracking, so you could track it in software, you could track it in an Excel spreadsheet, in a Google sheet. You track your prospective patients, every person that reached out to you from your website, that they called in through any business line, they message you on Instagram, they message you on Facebook, they found you on a Facebook group, whatever, via these physical therapy Facebook groups. However people find you, you list it out in an Excel spreadsheet. And when you ask all these people, hey, by the way, how did you hear about us? Like, that should always be your first question. How did you hear about us? Were you introduced? Were you referred by a colleague, a physician, a doc, a home health company, a gym owner, personal trainer, wellness person, yoga person, whatever it might be? How did you hear about us? And you will, on average, you're going to get more than this 25 call number per month in this type of fashion. So anyway, that's enough out of this. Again, I think I can speak well about this because of the dollar amount spent or invested in this. And let's just go into campaigns. I want to make this efficient, and I think I already talked too long. So, okay, now I said we do in-home physical therapy. And by the way, there are physical therapists that are in the New York City area. They're going to watch this. Feel free to take this, because what I know is that I probably have a more have an understanding of this, and I know that I can spend, two, three, five, whatever $1,000 a month, five, six, seven, $8,000 a month, or whatever. And we're going to get into how I make sense of that. But anyway, first, in-home physical therapy is a campaign. It goes to our landing page right now. I'm spending $200 per day on this campaign, in-home physical therapy. These are people that are they're not necessarily homebound, but they want privacy, they want convenience, they might have a gait or balance problem, or maybe they were post-surgical and they want someone to come to them. I can't speak of other demographics, but in New York City, there's just some understanding of like people in New York City, just they know that there's some services that come to them. So whether it's massage, personal training, acupuncture, that physical therapists cannot do in the state of New York, physical therapy, nursing, IV drip, that whole thing. There's a lot of services in New York City because of the way that not a lot of people have cars because of Uber and Lyft and taxi cabs and the subway and buses. The way that New York City works is there's a substantial number of people that understand that there's like the availability of on-demand services. That's just kind of like the nature of the city. Anyway, so in-home physical therapy is a campaign. Obviously, we spend a good chunk of that. Here's a back pain campaign that we spend $30 per day on. Now, this one will show ads about back pain only, and then also back pain and sciatica together, and I think maybe sciatica separately. But anyway, here's the optimization scores. In-home physical therapy, we spend more on it. Optimization score, if it matters, 76.5. Back pain is optimized. I got to go back in and basically, Google will give you tips like, hey, optimize this, get rid of this, add this, get rid of this. And it's like really kind of like spoon feed you easily in terms of like how to optimize your campaign and all that. Again, I didn't set any of these up. So next one, Parkinson's. So what I learned and found out over the years is that, first of all, like physical therapy is great, as you all know, for Parkinson's and movement and keeping people mobile and independent and active and all that. And over the years of doing home visits, I was just like, hey, patients and people with Parkinson's obviously love what we do. They need what we do. We have no side effects. We only help them move better and live better and enjoy life longer with their family, with the things that they love to do. So it's like a no-brainer. So these are an active or can be an active population, or folks that need our help in terms of gait, balance, rotation, mobility, strength, coordination, like a whole host of things, right? So that is our third one. Optimization score 67.3, whatever. Okay. We spend $25 per day on this. Now, the challenging thing is the reason why we spend more on the home physical therapy campaign is because obviously, like if someone types into Google, in-home physical therapy, Manhattan, in-home physical therapy, downtown Brooklyn, in-home physical therapy, or home physical therapy, Upper East Side, home physical therapy, whatever location, like they're already they already have awareness of the thing that they want. They want a physical therapist to come to them. The insurance is, that's down the line in terms of the phone call and the logistics around that. So that's a little bit in the sales, which we're not going to get into tonight. So in-home physical therapy, back pain and sciatica campaign, Parkinson's. And sometimes these folks will be like, oh, I was looking for a physical therapy office that does Parkinson's rehab or Parkinson's physical therapy. And then we're like, yeah, like, we understand, like, it doesn't, like, some of the ads will say focus more on Parkinson's, and some of our ads will say like in-home Parkinson's rehab or in-home physical therapy for Parkinson's, or any variations of those. So sometimes people will still call us and say, hey, oh yeah, Parkinson's, we want Parkinson's rehab for myself, for the caller, or for the husband or wife or son or daughter, or mother or father, really. And so if they want to go to an office, then obviously we have to refer them to a colleague or an office nearby. We spend $25 a day on that. Here is in-home physical therapy call. So we spend $20 a day on that. Now, there's pros and cons to all this. In-home physical therapy, this campaign will go to a landing page, which I could show you maybe next, but you just go to my website, conciergepainrelief.com. In-home physical therapy, we just drop people right on that page. We don't have like a specific landing page. It just drops them right onto our in-home physical therapy page on my main website. The main website URL of my practice is conciergepainrelief.com. And in-home physical therapy is this drops people right onto that web page. And then if they call, they scroll down. If they look at testimonials, pictures of, of our patients, clients, whatever that they approved of, and they read through what we do or what we're offering or whatever. And if they call from that web page, this ad will still get attributed to a conversion or the call tracking. Same thing with this. My web page, we have back pain and sciatica on the same page. Drops them right onto that. We don't do any landing pages. It drops them right onto the website. That's another thing Joey Albritton mentioned when I had him on my show, that they do a lot of dropping ad clicks right onto the website of the practice. Then the practice's website elevates status and value in like the Google algorithm of like, oh, this is a legit website. It's not like some flunky landing page that's like a weird URL or whatever. So that website and those web pages get more traffic over time, and then it gives feedback to Google like, oh, this is a legit web page, and with more traffic and more click to call and all that, Google will surface up your website more often for the organic listings, as I kind of alluded to earlier. Like you'll get more of those organic clicks, or your website will go higher with like SEO, but it's not even SEO. But it'll surface higher, and more people will click on the organic posts or listings or the organic pages of your website, even if they don't click on the ad. They could scroll past my ad in the top. So we're always going to be like the first or second, usually like there's like 1 or 2 ad placements typically with Google Ads. So there could be a potential prospective patient. They scroll down, they pass the first and second ad slot because there's just a lot of people that don't want to click on ads, or they're like, I don't click on ads ever, even though a lot of people do. So they could scroll past the ad, and then my website will be more likely to be surfaced up in the organic section below that, compared to another practice of my size or stature or whatever that does not run any Google ads. All right, so that was the fourth one. So the difference with this one, and I can show you some examples on another page, but in-home physical therapy campaign call. So it's click to call. It costs more per click, but it will, you can go on Google. I can show you an example next. I just want to stay on this page. But you go on Google and you could look up, home physical therapy near you, plumbing near you, HVAC, whatever, like whatever type of service provider. And some of the ads where it has like the phone number, and then you just tap on it once on mobile, you tap on it once and it's like already like, here's the number. And if you tap it again, it actually calls the business, or in this case, it would call my practice or your practice. It costs more for that lead because typically it's a prospective patient, a lead that is warmer or maybe even hot, like they know what they want. However, what we found is I only spend $20 a day on it because sometimes people will click on the ad, the click to call, and it's an inappropriate, a mismatch prospective patient. And sometimes it's like, I mean, it's ridiculous. In New York City, the front desk people in buildings, like especially like luxury buildings, but also like many mid-tier buildings, it's like in like the hotels as well, it's called like the concierge, like the person at the front desk that's always there all day, all night. The concierge. So we go down or call the concierge and ask about restaurants nearby, whatever. So that whole thing with buildings, a lot of buildings have a front desk person, doorman, concierge type desk. We've gotten callers to click on that ad, and they were looking to apply for a job to be a concierge front desk person at like hotels and front desks. So obviously inappropriate, like literally, like why, like do not even look at what you're calling or clicking on. But that's the world we're living in, folks. And so yes, I lose money on that call. Sometimes I've paid whatever, $100, $200 or whatever for that call, or on average it's less. But even if it's $100, you make up for it more. That I'm gonna talk about next, about plan of care, average cost per visit, lifetime value of a patient, about why I'm able to pay this amount of money and then make it back and track it, and why it makes sense for me. Anyway, next one is neck pain. I spend $10 per day on a neck pain landing page, frankly, because in terms of like, half our clientele are orthopedic and orthopedic diagnoses, and the other half are neurological. So neurological would be the Parkinson's, or sometimes in-home physical therapy. Half the time people that call in-home physical therapy on this campaign or the click to call, half the time it's orthopedic, like knee, ankle, foot, or post-surgical, or sciatica or back pain or headaches or neck pain or whatever. So half the time it's orthopedic, half the time it's neurological. And the neurological one or the in-home physical therapy, we have people calling this or clicking, finding this ad, clicking this ad, or the in-home PT ad, and their themselves or their family member could have multiple sclerosis, spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, stroke, if I didn't already say that, like ataxia, gait, balance, what, like any, dizziness, any of the neurological components. Let's see, this in-home new landing page. I was spending $200 a day. It ended. So I think I can just remove that. And then as a curveball here, folks, during COVID, we also tested an in-home chiropractor landing page. It's down to $1 a day. Hey, listen, chiropractors advertise physical therapy all the time, right? And we get all pissed off about it in Facebook groups, and you've all seen it. We've had people click on this ad and then they call us and they go, are you guys chiropractors or physical therapists? And we're very upfront. We're like, we're physical therapists. All our physical therapists are licensed, board certified. They have doctor of physical therapy degrees. We don't have any chiropractors on staff. And they're like, all right, well, like I have neck pain or back pain, and like, can I learn more? Do you take this insurance, or how much does it cost, or whatever? So anyway, we toyed with that. This says pause, call extension disapproved, whatever. Okay. But in a nutshell, these are our campaigns. Let's go into all time for this, and then maybe this will show. I think that kind of skews the campaigns. But anyway, keywords. I was going to talk about keywords. Okay. You want to speak to someone about setting up Google Ads with keywords. And the easiest thing to think about negative keywords, which would be this one, is when someone calls your business, your practice, and they were looking for another practice. They were looking for another physical therapist by name. They were looking for another practice by name. For example, people have called us and they're like, I'm looking for, Johnny, the physical therapist at Fox Rehab. And I say to my guy previously, I actually don't know how to do this, but negative keywords like acupuncture. Now in the state of New York, dry needling is not allowed. It's not approved, right? So negative keyword acupuncture for all of these ad campaigns, because if someone searches acupuncture, we do not want our ads shown, because they are in their mind, they're looking for acupuncture. We don't do dry needling. So we don't want them to click on the ad. We don't want to spend on that ad, because we don't want to spend on that click. We want to save some money when we can. And so we want to save money on that click, because if they are looking for acupuncture, we cannot provide that. We can't do it. In other states, dry needling is possible, like in New Jersey and Florida and other places. And but it's not here. So what else did we have? So Aetna, there, like I told my guy Eric when he was setting these campaigns up, we added like so many negative keywords, because what I found is, like, if people were calling and saying Aetna, or let me go to look at negative keywords. There's 1,354 negative keywords. Let's go by 500 at a time so I can. Okay, so Bayfit is some physical therapy practice. So it's like if people are calling and they're looking for Spear Physical Therapy or Professional Physical Therapy, the practice, or any other practice nearby, if they search that, you do not want your ad shown, because otherwise they're going to call and be like, yeah, I was looking for Spear Physical Therapy, or I was looking for, Jag 1, or I was looking for professional PT at like this specific, Columbus Avenue or whatever street address. What else? Books, Bozeman. I don't even remember adding these negative keywords. Let's go fast. Complaints. Okay, here's one. Connecticut home healthcare, like Continental home healthcare. These are things that, like, previously people had, we were able to either see their search queries, which is wild, but Google either, I don't know if they still do, but they used to show, like, for the ad tracks of, I was showing like the 25 phone calls in the last month that were actually tracked. Google, I don't know if it still does, but it used to show like, this person that called you, here's what they typed into Google. Here's the query that they search, which is just wild. Like, I don't even know how, like, I think they might have stopped it because of like privacy and all that. But anytime there was like a person calling in that was looking for something else specific, I was like, hey, we need to add this as a negative keyword, because I don't want this person or anyone like this to ever call and they're looking for something else. So I don't want my ad to be shown. Let's cut off some fat here. Let's try to save some money. Craigslist, I don't even know why that's a negative keyword. Directions. Anyone that searches directions or, physical therapy near me, directions, whatever, like that means driving. That means that person in their head is I'm driving. I need to drive to an outpatient physical therapy office, which is not us because we go to our patients. And so therefore, anytime someone search queries, types into Google directions that's associated with any physical therapy, whatever, we do not want our ad shown. Okay. DIY, do it yourself, DIY. I said to my guy, Eric, I'm like, hey, anytime someone's searching DIY, that means that they are in the mode of they want to figure it out themselves. They want to try to figure out their back pain or sciatica themselves. So I do not want my ad shown because if they call us, it's going to be a waste of time because that person is not looking. You can hear me getting excited. That person is not looking for a physical therapist or in-home physical therapy or concierge physical therapy or whatever. They want to figure it out on their own. And I do not want our ads shown to people that are in a different mindset, that they want to figure it out on their own. Those people are top of funnel. They are on YouTube searching like, how do I, foam roll my piriformis syndrome away? And how do I, melt away my sciatica or whatever, or the, 3 easy steps to fix my herniated disc or whatever. I do not want my ad shown because that's wasted money. If they were to click on the ad, they probably won't even call us. I got to pay for that click. And if they do call us, they're going to be like, oh, like, do you take my insurance? Whatever. They're not going to be really serious. So DIY, and then do it yourself here spelled out. Let's go. Dr. Great. I don't know what that is. Drugs. So anyone that's typing in Dr. Sarno back pain, which is a book, all these are negative keywords. Anyone that's typing in drugs, medications, whatever, like our ad, we don't want shown because it's just waste of money. Let me scroll. These are Fidelity Home Healthcare is another one. Florida is a negative keyword. Like all these keywords are just like, you kind of learn over time. Forward motion physical therapy, I forget where they're even located, but that, again, a negative keyword. Basically, we're like, over time, we're like, hey, any of these, like negative keyword. You just got to go in and be like, negative keyword, anyone, Golden Touch Home Health LLC, negative keyword. That I never want my ad shown ever again. And as you remember, with this $107,000 and whatever, it was like 480,000 impressions. We never want our ad shown. Great Neck is out in Long Island. We don't have physical therapists right now. I think we used to, but we don't right now in Great Neck, Long Island. So boom, negative keyword. Okay, I think I harped on negative keywords enough. What else did I say? So average, okay, I should have said this earlier in the talk here. Let's just show all time again so you can see these numbers. Or why don't I do this? Let me stop screen. I'm going to open up a Google Doc. Stay with me, folks. Stay with me. I'm going to show you how and why it makes sense. It makes financial sense to run Google Ads the way I do. I have nothing to sell you. It's a beautiful thing. Here we go. Okay. Let me go back to share screen. Okay, here's a Google Doc. You need to be tracking your plan of care. What is a plan of care? Let me make this larger. For your, whatever you do, orthopedic, ortho, neuro, whatever, you need to track your plan of care, all your plans of care. So every new patient, like average number of visits per patient or per plan of care, per evaluation. So plan of care, let's just say the last time we checked, I think we were at like 15 or 16. Let's go conservative. Let's say for every, let's say on average, 15 visits per plan of care on average. Okay, so that means now, yes, and my therapists are, we think we're good or great, but you're also great as well. If you're watching this, you're obviously looking to invest in your practice and grow and all that. And so you get, just like we do, sometimes we get a new patient and it just doesn't work out, or they're not ready for physical therapy. They're not ready to commit to the plan of care. They don't really see the value. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe you don't take their insurance, whatever. So sometimes, we have patients that do, 1 to 2 visits total. And then of course we have folks that, as I showed you in the, one of the previous episodes, where a patient spent $313,000 with us, and they were with us for a while. They were with us for years. And so, let's say some outlier Some people do, I don't know, let's just say like 20 to 35 visits with you, visits total, right? But this is what you need to consider. Like, what is the average number of completed visits per evaluation or per plan of care? So 15 visits. Let me move this down. And what do you charge, or what do you get for reimbursement? Now, we accept out-of-network insurance benefits. We have a biller that does that. We do not accept Medicare. We don't accept anything in network. And I know it's unique and it's not always possible, but let's just say on average, let's just say $200 per visit that we get, let's just say. $200 times 15, it should be 3,000. Let me just check my math. 15 times $200, $3,000. So that would be the lifetime value of a new patient, aka LTV. Now, I showed you the 25 calls that I got that were trackable calls, even though it was more, tracked calls for the month of November to date. Right now it's November 27th. We're almost at the end of November, and I spent, what was it, $8,000. So if I'm spending $3,000 per month on Google Ads, I just need one patient. This is pre-tax and fees and everything. I just need one patient to complete 15 visits over the next 7.5 weeks. I did a little math ahead of time. What did I say? So the 15 visits per plan of care. If I get one lead, now we're talking about, let's say 25 to 50 prospective patients or leads for shorthand, prospective patients, people that are calling, they're kind of inquiring, they're at different levels of seriousness and all that, getting 25 to 50 of those folks in your funnel, in your world, in your ecosystem, whatever. If I get one of those people to complete 15 visits, which will usually take about it'll take about 7 to 8 weeks, 7.5, 8 weeks at let's say, at 2 visits per week. So what did I do? 15. I did 15. Yeah, duh. I did 15 divided by 2 visits per week. And so that's where I got the 7.5 weeks, or you could just call it 8 weeks. So let's just say I know my approximate lifetime value. This is something that you got to track, because you got to go back in for earlier this year or last year, and you got to see, like, of all your evals, every new patient, all your evaluations, some stayed with you for 1 or 2 visits, and some maybe did 15 or 20 or 30 or whatever it is. You got to take an average of all those people, of all the visits, and how many on average. Let's just say it's typically in this range. We've seen like 12, we've seen 10, we've seen 12, we've seen some practices at 16, 15 is conservative. Let's say on average, the prospective patients, the ones that convert 15 visits per plan of care on average, $200 per visit. This is top line. This is pre-tax. This is, pre-paying your therapist for, compensation and all that. $3,000 lifetime value per new patient, at least in this example. And if we're spending $3,000 per month on Google Ads, getting 25 to 50 prospective patient leads, I just need one of these 25 to 50. But obviously we get many, we get several. I just need one patient to complete 15 visits over the 8 weeks at 2 visits per week. And then at that point, to recoup that $3,000. Now, That's before you're paying yourself, before taxes, before credit card fees, before time and travel and all the other expenses or whatever. So yeah, of course, right? But let's just say if of the 25, if we said 40% of the 25, so if we take 25 leads and convert at 40%, so 40% of them start with us, that is 10 new patients. And then we refer back to, on average, well, on average, right here, 15 visits per plan of care. So that would be 10 patients, 10 new patients are going to do, on average, 15 visits per plan of care. They're going to spend $200 per visit, at least in my example. And so 10 patients times 15 visits times $200, $30,000. 10 times 15 times 200. I'll check it again. 10 new patients on average. Now you got to look at it like, I know that the ones that do 15 visits, it's going to take 8 weeks. You got to do it retrospectively. You got to look back. Hopefully that makes sense. But 10 times 15 times 200 equals 30,000. So that might be like in the next quarter or whatever. But what you realize is, oh man, this is what I realized I had, like, an epiphany, which is like some of my patients, as I showed you on one of the recent episodes that I did about the patient that paid us $313,000. If you look below that on that screen share on the Dave Kittle Show on YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already. If you look at that, there's the patients that were the second, third, and fourth, and fifth most paid. They spent $27,000 with us, $26,000 with us, $21,000, $18,000, $16,000, whatever. And so that was over, months. But you can land some of those quote unquote, whales, the people that love you, that love your experience, they want to spend with you, whatever. And you're going to recoup it over time. So you got to kind of look retrospectively. The 30,000, it's going to take a while for you to get these 10 new patients, because of the 15 visits per plan of care, some of them might do 2 or 3 visits with you per week, and some might only do like 1 visit a week. And so then it's going to take 15 weeks to recoup the $3,000 per new patient in terms of the lifetime value of that patient on average. This is a lifetime value on average. But once I realized this is some of these patients that on the months back in 2020, 2021, that I was spending $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And then I realized, I look at my credit card processor and some of them had spent $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, or they had great out-of-network insurance benefits and their plans were paying and reimbursing us really well and timely. Then I realized, oh man, I can crank up, not necessarily pour gasoline on the fire, but I can crank up that daily ad spend to the point that I know that I'm going to sufficiently make enough of this back. So let's get a little bit more aggressive. And this is why this is how Alex Hormozy and all these other businesses can basically spend more on Google ads or Facebook ads and spend huge numbers that sound ridiculous. Again, I started at 200 or something bucks a month, spending $6 or $7 per day, which is like nothing. It's like a coffee per day where you start. And you got to track it. Okay. You got to track it. You want to track, again, your visits per plan of care. This is the huge factor, which is like, how much are you being paid or reimbursed per visit? And obviously it's more challenging. It's more of a volume game for in-network practices. It still can work out, or the in-network folks that then you discharge your patients and then you cross-sell them or upsell them or whatever to cash pay services, laser, red light therapy, sauna, decompression boots, any other type of out-of-pocket expense, shockwave therapy, whatever it might be, that type of stuff. So hopefully this makes sense. I think this is a little long, but subscribe to the Dave Kittle Show if you had not already. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you didn't get the full thing. You didn't get the full training. But jump over to the Dave Kittle Show. Got nothing to sell you. Please do not ask me to set up your Google ads. I literally don't even know how to. Find someone to do so. I don't really have a lot of references to share. That's it for now. Hopefully this helps, and you can find more about practice growth and partnerships. And if you're listening this long, then maybe it might make sense to reach out to us, where we can either acquire your practice or we partner with you to help put some of this stuff on steroids in terms of like ramping up your practice, getting you, using online marketing, getting you and your practice in front of more prospective patients, more leads in your community, so that you can help people overcome pain and movement dysfunction and issues without them seeking medication, injection, surgery, things that are like unnecessary and costly and invasive. I think what we have as the physical therapy profession is amazing. I alluded to that with Tony Maritato in the last episode. We'll catch you next time here on the Dave Kittle Show. Subscribe if you have not already. Bye. Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@conciergepainrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.